We're excited to have you here for our virtual dual credit and work-based learning night. We are going to talk about dual credits and what programs or courses that we have available at Battleground Public Schools. Whoops, something happened there. Dual credits provide Pardon? I think I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone. Okay. Dual credits provide students with potential to earn high school and college credits at the same time while in high school. I'm Debbie Smith. I'm the work-based learning coordinator for Summit View High School, along with my co-partner, Chris Neal. She is the work-based learning coordinator for both Prairie and Battleground High School. And then helping us out tonight with our slides, we have Kevin Doyle, our career guidance specialist at Battleground High School, helping. Our presenters tonight are going to be Cindy Arnold. She's from the Battleground Public Schools. Joan Houston is Cascadia Tech Academy. And from Clark College, we have Abby Thompson, Carmel Baldwin, and Ellie Phillips. Next slide, please. So to get us started, I want to just go over what is work-based learning. So, because that's kind of the little niche that Miss Neal and I are into, and that is giving students credit as a junior or senior for working, they can earn credits. So we're going to talk a little briefly about work-based learning. Next slide, please. Here are some of the benefits of work-based learning. First of all, it increases the self-confidence. We work so closely with the students and the employers to make sure that our students are learning to self-advocate for themselves and learning those skills necessary to be successful on the job. It also gives them the opportunity to explore career options that they may not have already thought about. Next slide, please. I'm going to pass it over to Ms. Chris Neal.
Hi, everyone. Well, worksite learning is a class intended to build and support skills students are learning on in a qualifying course. What is a qualifying course? For work-based learning, you have to have a qualifying class. If you want to go into construction, then you want to take a course in a skilled and technical trade pathway. So if you have a job with Tapney in high school, you can earn credits as you took a qualifying course. Some students may have a job in fast foods. A student who's taken a fast foods class is working at McDonald's, wants to go into culinary, so they could earn credits in work-based learning. But to work at McDonald's to receive credit doesn't always mean that your pathway has to be culinary. I had a student that had a foods class and a health science class working at McDonald's and wanted to do work-based learning, but her career pathway was psychologist. So I asked her, how does working at McDonald's help you become a psychologist? And she said, Miss Neal, have you seen all the personalities that come into McDonald's? I'm learning so much. And I'm learning all the health and safety on the job. So there was that connection. So I want you guys to think about, as you move through high school, about your career pathway, what courses are going to help you get there. And that's the whole idea for this meeting tonight, was so you can hear about the dual credits and thinking about those things ahead of time. Next is Cindy Arnold. Oh, I missed one. Sorry, Kevin. And then to take work-based learning, you can earn credits your junior and senior year. So it's 180 hours for every half credit. A junior can do 1 full credit for the year, and a senior can do 2 full credits for a year. All right, next would be Cindy Arnold. Are you there, Cindy?
Sorry, I was on mute. I'll just start again. I'm Cindy Arnold, the Career and Technical Education Director in the district. And now that I'm off mute, I'll explain what Career and Technical Education is. I always explain it as those courses in our district that sound like a job. Those tend to be our Career and Technical Education courses. So business and marketing, welding, woodworking, construction trades, machining, all of those classes are Career and Technical Education classes. Can you go next? Do you want me to tell you next? And Career Technical Education really focuses on preparing kids for their future. That's really the intent. We're trying to prepare kids for a job, but it also helps students try to figure out what their interests are. So in the freshman year, students get a choice of what career and technical education class they would like to take. It might be floral design 1, it might be foods 1, whatever they might be interested in. And that's kind of their entry course. It's this 1 semester class. And our hope is that they'll take more classes as they go through high school. So it helps them find their interests. It teaches leadership skills. There's opportunities for leadership both in and out of class. And it kind of helps kids connect the why I'm learning this subject. So if they're struggling in Algebra 2, Career and Technical Education Engineering might help them understand the reasons why they have to have Algebra 2 because they're going to need it when they get into the workforce. So those are some reasons that make Career and Technical Education important. Next. Career and Technical Education increases student achievement. So there's a lot of national data. And here's just a couple of pieces. 90% nationally of students who concentrate in career and technical education courses graduate from high school, compared to 75% of students who don't concentrate in career and technical education classes. Also, CTE students tend to perform at higher levels academically. So the skills that they learn in our classes really help foster success for students. And in the World Economic Forum, this was in the World Economic Forum about a year ago, 65% of students today will end up in careers that don't exist yet. So when you think about that, 65% of our children could end up in careers that don't exist right now. And 9 in 10 workers will have to develop new skills throughout their lives. So for us, we change job 3 times, but for a lot of our students, they may change jobs many times, or they may be in the same job, but they'll have to learn new skills throughout their lifetime. And career and technical education helps, again, students do that. We're learning technology. And so kids are learning how to learn technology, how to go beyond the thoughts of other people or written material. They learn to make the right response in situations that are outside of the scope of their current knowledge. And again, we kind of foster these traits in our classes. Okay, next slide. And this is what a typical CTE classroom might look like. They're not what I think of as a typical. This might be a business class. You can see there's a screen. You can see there's been some collaboration going on. Students are working in groups. There's some computers. The teacher is moving around, working in facilitation. So again, teaching and learning those skills. Next. So, it's not like when I was in school, it was typing. We were really preparing youth for a wide range of high wage, high skill, high demand careers. Next. These are what we call our pathways. So again, these are the CTE classes in our district, fall under the umbrella of each one of these strands. And we're going to go to agriculture and natural resources first. So this is one of our greenhouses. We have 2 greenhouses at Battleground High School, 2 at Casey, and 1 at Prairie. We have beautiful greenhouses. Students in the ag and hort department at both schools work in our greenhouses. We also have floral design. We have a Casey campus. It's an 80-acre campus in the middle of our district where students can go out in the field and do egg mass surveys, amphibian studies. They work with real scientists on Mount St. Helens. So this is our Ag and Natural Resources Department. And when you see the blue dot, that means when students complete that pathway, they get an industry recognized credential that they can take with them into an entry-level job and show that they have this certificate that shows they've completed a 2-year sequence. And the gold dots are either college and the high school or articulation credits. So you can see next to environmental science is a gold dot, and that's a college and the high school. So students get a transferable credit, 5 transferable credits from taking environmental science at Casey. Next. Human services is another one, and we have interior design and apparel. Education and training is big. There's 12 credits that you can earn for Clark. We have culinary arts and sign language. Next. Skilled and technical is our largest pathway in our district. You can see these are all the classes and the pathways that we have in the skilled and technical area, including automotive technology, computer programming. You can take computer programming all 4 years of high school if you wanted to. Engineering and manufacturing, welding, machining, wood construction, and ROTC is a popular program for us. And I'll show you some pictures if you want to go to the next slide. Here is some manufacturing students. Next. Our ROTC program is affiliated with the Air Force. Jewelry and metals, if you click again and again. The students on the left are working in our jewelry and metals program. It's also glass and wood art. It's kind of a maker space, beautiful classroom at Battleground High School. And the student on the right is at Prairie High School working in the machining shop. And construction trades is really growing again in our district. We have construction trades as well as HVAC, plumbing, and electrical that feed into a pre-apprenticeship program, as well as our woodworking classes that focus in on cabinetry and other woodworking projects. Business and marketing. We have quite a few dual credits, college credits associated with business and marketing. Those are the gold dots. And it's about 12 credits that you can earn going to Clark College. Next. Again, this is a picture of business and marketing, very collaborative spaces, students working together. Next. Digital and visual communications, those would be like audio, video production, video game design is really popular at both schools, digital photography, AP photography, photo portfolio. This is all under the digital and visual arts strand, and it's a very popular strand with our students. And again, the blue dots are the pathways that get the industry recognized credentials. Next. Health science. We have about 12 credits with Clark in our health science. We have health science careers, math for healthcare, family health, just to name a few. Nice program. We have what's called an anatomage table at both of our comprehensive high schools, which is a great big computerized table with cadavers and animals as part of it, where you can actually dissect using this technology. It's pretty fun to use, and the kids are really enjoying it. Next slide. Click again. Again and again. These are just some pictures of Casey. Click. Clark College credits anatomy and physiology. If you take it in conjunction with our health science careers classes, you can get allied health classes from Clark. And there's a total of 6 credits listed here in the anatomy and physiology area at Clark. Next. Intro to health science careers and medical interventions and terminology. These are the allied health credits that you can get by taking those classes at both Battleground and Prairie High School. Next. These are our business classes that are articulated with Clark College. So we have career English this year and English communications. You get the business 107 office English at Clark. We have introduction to business is business 101. And all of our computer science classes at both comprehensive high schools, depending on what combination you take, you get the CTAC 121 credit with Clark. Next. Accounting 1 and Accounting 2, you can get Accounting 129 with Clark. Next. Our Prairie Preschool and Child Development programs, they're similar programs, just one is at Prairie and one is at Battleground. And you can get a total of 12 credits by going through those programs. Lower Columbia is where we get our welding college credits. And again, I mentioned Casey Environmental Science. You can get ENV 109, which is 5 transferable credits. This one's our college and high school, and that's why it's a transferable credit. Our articulated credits are more like hoping that you would continue on to Clark and continue into their program. It's a great place to kind of get started with 2 years, and then you can feed into any 4-year university from Clark and take those credits with you. Our articulated credits are virtually free. There's typically a $25 registration fee for students to actually get their transcript and register with the college. And then college and the high school, you just pay a reduced rate for those college credits. And just again, to reiterate, CTE helps foster success in students, a higher graduation rate compared to students who do not concentrate in CTE. And so we're hoping that your students will take more CTE classes or some CTE classes when you get to our comprehensive high schools. And that's what I have. Thank you.
Next. And one more.
Okay, good evening. My name is Joan Houston, and I'm the director at Cascadia Technical Academy, formerly called the Clark County Skills Center. Sometimes I even refer to it as that still. But we are Cascadia Tech, and first of all, I want to thank the Battleground School District for inviting us to be part of their presentation. This is amazing that they do this. Not every school district does this, so you're very lucky to have this in your district. So next. We have 16 different program areas in our, I think we missed a slide, so I'll just tell you a little bit about our school. We serve juniors and seniors in the Clark County area. So we have about 100 students that come from the Battleground School District come here, and we are a free extension of your program. So you are more than welcome to come here your junior and senior year and take any one of our different program areas. As you can see, they are listed here. Anything from applied medical science, automotive, aviation, business, construction technology, cosmetology, criminal justice, culinary, baking and pastry arts, dental, diesel technology, fashion design, information technology, system service and security, medical assisting and pre-engineering design. Okay, the next slide. So our students can earn college articulation credits, what they've been talking about, the CTE dual credits. Many of our programs are articulated at Clark College, and some are even over in Portland Community College. Our aviation program is articulated up at Green River Community College up in the Seattle area for those aviation credits. Every single one of our programs offer those credits, and they're anywhere from 3 credits to 45 credits. And those, again, are all free. We have all of our programs also have some type of high school equivalency credit. So for example, our construction program, those students earn a 3rd-year math credit. Our criminal justice program, those students can earn a PE credit and a civics credit. Our business principles program can earn their junior English credit right here at Cascadia Tech. So some pretty cool things with that. Okay, next slide. I just talked about that. Oh, that's okay. So going back to the college credits, all programs do have some college credit opportunity available. Like I said, Clark College, LCC up in Longview, Portland Community, Green River, Mount Hood Community, UTI, and Perry Technical Institute. And if you want to see a complete listing of the articulation credits, you can check out our website. Our application window is also open. It opened on February 1st. So you can check out our website for information on that. See your high school counselor if you are interested in coming to Cascadia Tech. Fill out the application. We also have summer school, and that window opens on May 1st. But for next year, applications are being taken right now. I think that's all I've got. Thank you. Thank you again for having us here.
Next, Kevin. Ellie, you're up.
Hi everyone, can you hear me okay? Great. Hi, my name is Ellie Phillips. I'm the Career and Technical Education Recruiter at Clark College. I just want to echo what Joan said and say thank you so much for having me tonight to talk about dual credit. I'm talking about dual credit with Clark College because students have the opportunity, like Cindy had said, to earn college credit while they're in the high school. She's talked a lot about the credits that we currently have articulated where students can earn free credit with Clark. You can go ahead and hit next. At Clark College, we have a lot of career and technical careers that exist in all of our pathways at Clark. As you can see, they look a lot like what Cindy had showed earlier: advanced manufacturing and mechanical, business and entrepreneurship, creative and communication arts, healthcare and biosciences, public service, society and education, and science, technology, and engineering. Right now, Battleground School District students can explore careers through dual credit through their business and accounting classes, healthcare, early childhood education, and computer technology. Next. So a big part of what I want to share tonight is how students get college credit at Clark. It's a little bit of a process. Really, this looks like a lot of steps, but it's 3 main technical steps, and I'll go through it with you. So students will follow this process to explore CT in their high school class, consider career options, and claim free college credit while still in high school. First off, they'll enroll in a dual course at the high school. And then they will register in SERS, which is the statewide student enrollment reporting system. And they have to do that the same year they take the class. The career counselor or high school teacher will assist them with that process. Next, back, please. Thank you. Then while they're in the class, they have the opportunity to consider the career options, gain some skills, and see what they like about it. Then they can learn what degree paths that course can work inside of, and they can do that by talking to me at Clark College, and they can end up finishing a degree early in that process. So a big point is they do have to pass the class with a B or better. We don't have, it says some courses require an A, but we don't have any articulations right now that require that with Battleground School District. And then they would apply for admission to Clark College, so they have a college transcript. And then they would send us an email to transcribe that credit. They have to request it. So the main 3 technical parts of this is enrolling in SERS, applying to admission to Clark College, which is free. Our admission is free. Our application is free. And then they would send an email to us to ask for that college credit to be put on their transcript. Next slide, please. So I also wanted to show a couple of pathways that students can take with these articulated credits. The healthcare classes that students take at Prairie and Battleground are such as anatomy and physiology, introduction to health science careers, medical interventions and terminology. One pathway that we have is our phlebotomy program. It's a certificate program. That's what is required to practice phlebotomy in Washington State. And as you can see, those classes that students take at their school satisfies almost the entire first quarter at Clark College. So it really puts them ahead. Now, these allied health classes is what we call them, also work in a lot of our other pathways at Clark College, such as medical assisting and our pharmacy technician leadership. So it doesn't just work for phlebotomy, it works for a lot of our different pathways. Our next slide. I also wanted to share our early childhood education track at Prairie High School and at Battlegrounds High School. The students that take these courses above satisfy the first term for this program. And then it also satisfies the initial state certificate that's required for state licenses for early childhood education in Washington. So I think what's really exciting about this is students have not only the opportunity to gain free college credit, and if they really like what they're doing, they have the opportunity to get ahead and get started in a career pathway. Next slide, please. So we do have a couple of deadlines, and these are shared. We're shared them with the school districts, and we're going to send updates as well. But the biggest thing that I want to share is at the very bottom, that students should request transcription from Clark College by the end of the school year. They have to register in SIRS that same school year, and they'll do that throughout the school year. But requesting transcription by the end of the school year is really important. And they'll also want to submit a free application to Clark College beforehand so that we can put their college credit on the transcript. We'll be sending out reminders soon so that students are aware of this, so that parents are aware. But these are processes that we really want to make known, and that way students have the opportunity to continue exploring career pathways and get ahead and get free college credit. That's really exciting. Next slide. Thank you so much for having me. I have a couple of emails I can share with you to request credit transcription. It's dualcredit@clark.edu. And then my email is ephillips@clark.edu. If you want to discuss with your student and me CTE programs and how credit transcription works, I'll add that dual credit email to the chat as well. Thank you.
Ellie, we had one question that came up in the chat. And it's, can students take some of these Clark College classes in the summer?
So for dual credit purposes, it would be when the high school offers them. This would be more of a running start if you're looking to enroll your student at Clark College and take classes. And we're actually going to be talking about that next. Some of these classes, some of the classes are not running start eligible because it has to satisfy requirements at their high school as well. But that's definitely worth exploring, and students need to be a junior or senior as well. I'll let Abby explore that more with you next, because running start is definitely more her thing, and she's really great at talking about it. Thank you.
Thanks, Ellie. I love the hype. I appreciate it. To complete the second half of Ellie's answer to your question in the chat, yeah, CTE classes would be taken with the high school. For Running Start students, the Running Start program does not currently cover summertime courses. So students who are enrolled at Clark College as Running Start students can potentially take classes with the college while they're Running Start students during the summer. However, they would be full tuition rate. They would not be the Running Start rates. So that would be an important thing to keep in mind as you think about if you want to take those classes or not. Hopefully that answers your question. Let's go ahead and go to that first slide and I'll get started on my presentation here. Awesome. Well, I'll introduce myself first. My name is Abby Thompson. I use she, her pronouns. Oh, I see my information was just put in the chat. Great. I was about to do that. Thank you so much. My name is Abby Thompson. I use she, her pronouns. My information is in the chat. I am a Penguin myself. I attended Clark College and got my associate's degree there, the majority of which I completed while in the Running Start program. So I know what it's like to be a Running Start student. I personally really enjoyed it. I learned a lot about responsibility and planning my schedule. I loved the responsibility that I got and the challenges I got while in the program, and they saved a lot of money, and I'm excited to tell you about it here today. First of all, what is Running Start? Oh, we're going to go back to that first slide again. Thank you. So here in Washington State, high school juniors and seniors that live here in Washington State are eligible for the Running Start program as long as they're enrolled with a Washington State public school district. Private and homeschool students will need to register with their public high school as well. But in order to be a Running Start student, those are the eligibility things that you need to check. You need to have junior or senior status, live in Washington State, and be enrolled in a Washington public school district. As a Running Start student, you can attend a community college and earn college credit. That dual credit is awesome because it will be satisfying your junior and senior year high school requirements, as well as giving you college credit. And so that's that dual credit. and you do it at a very low cost, which we'll talk about here in a moment. If you're interested in attending Running Start as a junior or senior, you will need to complete the next steps here that we're going to cover. Go ahead and move on to the next slide. These are the steps for getting started with us. So if you are a sophomore or even a junior considering going into the Running Start program, or midway through your senior year considering the Running Start program, these are some great next steps. However, these steps are specifically for students who are trying to enter the Running Start program in the coming fall. So if you're trying to come in on a shorter timeline, definitely connect with me after this meeting. But if you are a student planning to attend Running Start at Clark College in the fall of 2022, these will be your steps. You'll want to apply to Clark College. You'll fill out the same application all of our other general student population fill out. It is free. You'll submit that, it will get processed, and you'll receive your admissions acceptance email within about a business day. You'll use that to set up your student accounts. You'll then complete placement. If you plan on taking English classes at Clark College, you'll need English placement. College level English placement at Clark can be done many different ways, and we're happy to talk about that with you and go over all of those options with you here in the future. I'll definitely provide my contact information before I go, so you can connect with me if you have any questions about that, or you can attend a Running Start information session, which I'll talk about in a minute. You'll complete your Running Start orientation, which is all online and available for you. Attend a Running Start group advising session in April. This is where our advisors at Clark will help you figure out what classes you need to register for. You'll enroll in your fall 2022 classes that will begin at the end of May. And then you will attend the Running Start Summit, which will help prepare you for starting with Clark. This will be in August or September to help you get excited and prepared for your first term at Clark as a Running Start student. If you are interested in starting at Clark, the first step is to apply. And that will help us get you through these next steps and move you through the process. If you're a sophomore now, this is a perfect time to apply. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. We talked a little bit about, I'm going to wait because I see there's a mic on here. Is someone able to turn off that microphone? Thank you. All righty, so now let's talk about costs a little bit. So we mentioned that Running Start is much lower than tuition. It's not fully free, but I'll talk about how affordable it is. Tuition for the Running Start program is paid for by the school district based on a formula that we use on what's called the enrollment verification form. So if you decide to be a Running Start student and you complete those steps that I just showed you and enroll in classes, you'll turn in a form called an enrollment verification form. The enrollment verification form is how we figure out what classes are covered. It tells us how many classes you're taking at your high school and how many classes you're taking at Clark. Running Start only covers a specific number of credits depending on how many classes you're taking at your high school, and it doesn't cover any courses under 100. So if you're taking one or fewer classes at your high school, you can take your max Running Start number of credits, which is 15. If you're taking more than one class, then we'll help you do the math and figure out what classes you can take. Even if you take one class as a Running Start student, you get to keep those credits and take them with you. So whether you're a full-time or part-time student, it's still an awesome opportunity. Running Start students are also responsible for paying for their books, transportation, and some class fees. However, we do have a fee waiver available for students who meet the specific criteria of financial need. And then over here, we have a little chart of some of the costs students might be responsible for as students. It's optional, but they can get a student ID card. If they want a bus pass, which we offer very affordably at Clark, they will need that student ID card for $9. It is the $7.25 fee per credit that the students are taking. So that will be added to the cost of the program. And then there's course fees. This could be anything from $15 to $50. It really depends on the class. It will show up once you register for the class. You will be responsible for that. and then any books that the students need to purchase. And books is also really fluctuating depending on what kind of class and what the required book materials are. But this is a small snapshot of some of the costs associated. Go ahead and move on to the next slide. So we talked about what it might cost. So we can see a comparison here of the normal tuition cost at Clark for an in-state student taking 15 credits. Like I mentioned, if you're only taking one class or less at your high school, you can take up to 15 credits at Clark. You're looking at about $1,773.50 before books if you were not a Running Start student. So this would be if you graduated high school and you're coming to Clark after high school. But as a Running Start student, you can take the same number of classes for only a couple $100s. And then if you provide us with that fee waiver, so if you show us that you have financial need, we can lower that cost even more. Some examples of what might make a student eligible for the fee waiver would be being eligible for free or reduced lunch, receiving public assistance from a state or federal program, foster youth, receiving Social Security benefits. And of course, if they have any questions about qualifying, they can always reach out to us at enroll@clark.edu or directly to me, and I'll make sure they're connected with the right person. So that's a nice snapshot of the cost. There is a cost to it. There is a price ticket, but I can say as someone who went through the program, I earned so many credits and saved myself so much money by doing this. Okay, go ahead and move to the next slide. Thank you. If you would like more information regarding a review of those steps, some advising, hear from advisors from Clark College about the advising process as a Running Start student. You'll hear from Washington State University about transferring as a Running Start student. This is a great night to go to for all that extra information. Your high school may also have their own information nights. So just also be aware of your own counselors in high school and what sort of information they would like to share about the program. But if you would like to hear more from Clark, we have more nights coming up. Feel free to save this information. Got a QR code there that you can reference later. And you'll hear from me again about even more of this information. And we'll have live Russian and Spanish language translators available as well. All right, next slide. If you need any help and you're trying to get started at Clark, you can always reach out to me or always pop into the virtual support center. It's linked at the top of all of the Clark College web pages. It's a big list of Zoom rooms with Clark College staff waiting to help you. You can also always email me or start@clark.edu. Go ahead and advance. And then finally, because this is an important piece, I'd like to share a little bit about advanced placement credits, AP credits. If you are a student considering getting AP credits, I'm going to talk about them and the way they work at Clark. It's very similar across other schools, but every school might have their own policies about AP credits. So if you plan to go someplace else other than Clark, be sure to check in with them and how they want to use your AP credits if you're earning them. A little bit about AP. Advanced placement classes is a cooperative education endeavor between secondary schools and colleges and universities. AP courses are taught by high school teachers following course guidelines developed and published by the College Board. A minimum exam score is required of a 3 to a 5 and varies by subject. Scores of 2 or below are not accepted at Clark College. Other rules and limitations can apply. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. If you're planning to earn AP credit, you are awesome. It's a great thing to do with your time in high school, and we want to make sure you get to use it. So be sure you connect with your future schools about using the AP credit that you earn. Let's see. That is all my information. And I see I have a question in the chat that says, any prerequisites for Running Start? The main things you would like to you need to consider are those eligibility pieces I mentioned at the beginning. That is, have junior or senior level status determined by your high school district, live in Washington State, and be enrolled through a Washington public school district. However, if you want to do Running Start, it covers credits that are level 100 and above. So you need to make sure that you if you want the program to cover those classes, you need to be at 100 level. And some classes require placement in English and math in order to be considered at 100 level. The most common way we place students in English is using their self-reported high school GPA. A 2.9 or higher GPA will qualify a student for college level English, which will open up a lot of college level classes for them that are 100 level or higher. For math placement, it's a little more of a complicated conversation. So feel free to connect with me or check out our website. There's a great list of placement options there and all the options available to you. It really depends on district and a lot of personal things. So it's going to have a longer conversation. But placement will help students make sure that their classes are covered, and making sure that their college level will allow them to get those classes covered by Running Start. Up here, we have a little more information here about our contact information. So we have Ellie and me, as well as Carmel, who is our program specialist, helps with a lot of Running Start students and talks to your high school counselors a lot. I want to make sure that if I missed anything that she thinks is important to say, I would like to give her a moment to let me know. Is there anything that I missed that you would like shared, Carmel? Oh, you're currently on mute.
No, I think you covered it all.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and then, I noticed there's a chat that says Clark does accept Chapter 35 for fees. Is that veterans, or is that, I'm not really familiar with that.
I actually don't know what that is.
I don't know what that means.
Yes, that's veteran benefits.
There is a few, I don't know what the classification is, but you would have to check with our VA office. If the students are Running Start students, they would check with the VA to see if they could use those benefits. I think in some cases they can use some benefits, in other cases they can't.
Yeah, I'll pull up our Veterans Resource Center contact information and put it in the chat just in case you want that. They'll be able to provide more information, but thank you for asking. And thank you, Carmel.
Yeah,
I appreciate everyone listening to all this information that I've shared. You got my 4 p.m. rambliness, so thanks for following along. And I will let the rest of the meeting progress. Thank you.
I think we covered everybody. So we're just taking questions or answers. So you guys can unmute yourself and ask a question or put it in the chat, and we'll try to get those answers to you.
I have a question.
Okay.
So I want to do Running Start. I'm a sophomore and I want to do Running Start my 11th and 12th grade year. So if I did Running Start to be a physical pharmacy technician, how would the going to the high school classes work?
Well, you would either choose to take some classes here at the high school, so maybe the health science careers, but you could do some Running Start too. So like Abby was saying earlier, it depends on how many classes you're taking at the high school. We'll let you know how many credits you can take at Clark. You can take all your classes at Clark if you wanted to.
Yeah, and I'd like to add something. If a student takes, one class at the high school, they typically can take 15 credits at Clark. And then we do have cases where students can take more credits. And if you take over what your high school pay, you would pay the difference. Also, if you're on the fee waiver, you can take more credits, regardless if you're at your high school for 3 classes and you can only take maybe 9 credits at Clark, and you're on the fee waiver, you can take more and not have to pay anything because you're on the fee waiver. So there's a lot of different combinations depending on what you're doing at your high school.
So we got another question here. They just moved into the district, and they missed the deadline for January 28th to register for, I'm assuming, next year's Running Start.
There's no deadline to apply to the college.
We were referring to dual credit.
Oh, yes.
So with dual credit, the deadlines throughout the school year are simply registering and SIRS, and those are flexible. It's simply the requesting transcription at the very end of the school year that we say, okay, this is, and mainly it's for registering and SIRS. So if your student's taking a dual credit class that's articulated with Clark College, and they pass it with a B or better during this school year, I would suggest connecting with the career counselor. They're well-versed, they can connect with me, and we'll be able to talk about how that dual credit works, and before the end of the school year, how they can get that on a college transcript with Clark.
It looks like we have another question. Is COVID-19 vaccination a requirement for any of these programs?
I'm happy to answer for Clark first. So at Clark College, we are now a vaccinated campus. So what that means is that any in-person classes at Clark College require either proof of vaccination submitted or an approved medical or religious exemption. So students who are, especially students who are planning to apply for an exemption, make sure that you give yourself enough time to apply and be approved, or find other options. So those are the two options if you want to take in-person classes. If you're taking classes that are online and only meet virtually, you are not required to show proof of vaccination, only if you plan to come and take in-person classes.
Can I ask a question about classes online versus in person at Clark right now? Can you speak to what percentage of classes are offered in person?
A very large percentage. Sometimes it changes and shifts throughout the term. So the further we get into the term, some of them have to shift based on if there's COVID exposures. But I believe at the start of last fall term, we had about 60 or 70% of our classes offered in some sort of in-person capacity. So that might be hybrid or in person. I think that's close to what it was. Does that sound right to you, Carmel?
I think so.
Yeah. And of course that shifts a little bit depending on what our student population is asking for. Right now, we're not filling our in-person classes. We have a lot of openings in in-person classes, and we fill up our online classes. So that's what it looks like right now. And so that may dictate what's offered in the future, as well as what COVID looks like. But I can say last fall we had about 60 to 70%, and we're trying to just move that up.
A couple more questions. Looks like, does a 2-year degree from Clark transfer to any college or just Washington State colleges?
Chris, do you mind if I cut in? Because I knew though that last COVID-19 question, I only answered for Clark so far, and I wasn't sure if there were other programs that wanted to answer.
I know it's not a requirement for Battlegrounds students. And I'm assuming it's not required for Cascadia Tech too, right? I'm pretty sure of that.
She may be gone, but I'm pretty sure that they would follow the school district guidelines as well. So
yeah. Okay, so the other question is, does a 2-year degree from Clark transfer to any college or just Washington State colleges?
Well, it should transfer. I don't know, Abby, do you want to answer that one or do?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
I mean, we have an agreement between Washington for our direct transfer degrees, but when you're transferring to another college outside of the state of Washington, you should always check with the other college to see how your credits will transfer. But they are college level courses. They should transfer in some capacity. So it's always best to check with the other college before you, so you know what you're going to be doing at the other college and see how your credits transfer.
Yeah, and just to echo Carmel's, we have direct transfer agreements with most Washington and Oregon schools. So it's pretty easy in the Pacific Northwest. If you're planning to go anywhere else, just check with those schools. But we have students who go all over the place. They go to Ivy League schools, they go to big universities, competitive places on the East Coast. They're all options. It just, like anything else, takes some planning, and we're happy to help you do that.
Cindy, I think there's a question for you. My daughter's completed semester 1 of Intro to Health Science Careers and was never informed of the dual credit options. Is it too late to earn the college credits? I believe we do that at the end of the semester, right?
if it's this current year, did she take it this current year? didn't see the chat, but if it's this current year, students should be registered. They usually register with the career centers. Kevin Doyle at Battleground and Jen Miller at Prairie will help with that. And then at the end of the year, they will work with the career centers and the teachers again to get the credit. Last year, there was a lot of communication because we wanted to make sure that the students did receive the credit by June, because that is Clark's deadline. And so there was communications that went out to parents and students and teachers pretty much all spring. So we'll do the same thing again this year.
I have another question. Does one term of English, say 101, transfer to a full year of high school English? And I think Jessica's on. She could probably answer that one.
Yes, for every 1 credit at Clark College is equals to 0.20 credit at Battleground School District. So English 101 is 5 credits at Clark College, which is equal to 1 credit at the high school. And then the second one is can they finish their associate's degree while still in high school? Yes, if they plan accordingly and they're following a worksheet with Clark College and working with the high school counselors, making sure that they are meeting the graduation requirements in both schools.
I placed the Battleground School District Equivalency Guide from the Clark College website in the chat. So you can see what different classes at Clark satisfy within the high school. I hope that's helpful.
And we could add that, to earn your associate's degree while you're in high school, you'd have to take about 15 credits each term, fall, winter, spring, to equal 45 credits each year to get that full 90 credits in 2 years that you need. And you'd have to take, like the others said, the right credits in the right courses.
Yeah, but we have every year that get to their associate's degree and plus get their high school degree. So that's great.
I lost volume on that.
Abby, it says the link is not going to that page.
Someone just let me know the link does not go to the page, so I'm going to send a different link, and you'll have to select the equivalency guide drop down from this page. It won't go directly to the PDF, but this should work.
Does anybody have any other questions? Well, we really appreciate you guys all coming to this and getting some more information. We did record it, so if anybody wants that, we have that available too. Is there any links that anybody needs that we can put in the chat right now that that they missed? I'll put the slide deck in again. Thanks everybody for coming. I really appreciate it. Thanks to our partnerships that help us with all this too. Thank you guys. Stop recording.